Let's go, everybody. We're back. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Let us know in the chat from where you're tuning in. We got Marty from Finland already. Greetings. Yeah, I didn't say hello in the chat yet, so let us know. This is Hohner Live episode 99. That's pretty crazy.
Wow.
So thank you for being part of it. Let everybody else know about this. We got episode 100 next month. And a special guest for that. Looking forward. And special guest today, second time on the Hohner Live. But we got some very new things to talk about. An amazing event that's happening next year too in Berlin, Germany. So please welcome Marko Jovanović. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Konstantin. Thank you for inviting me for the second time. I'm glad to be back.
That's awesome. Yeah. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We didn't check when the last time was you were part of this.
I looked.
Did you check?
Previously. It was almost 3 years ago. 3 years ago.
Almost 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I think we were actually supposed to meet at the first edition of the Fan Harmonica Festival, but then for some reason it was cut a little shorter, right?
Yeah.
I don't actually remember.
You were invited for the 2020 festival, which we had to postpone, of course, of obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And for the second time, everything changed. For the second round, not for the second, for the first actually official starting of the festival, which was happening last year, we had to reschedule a little. But you are invited now for the second round, which will happen next year in May. So
exactly.
Welcome you then, finally.
So yeah, we're gonna talk about the festival. We're gonna talk about you, your music, you teaching.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I feel like the situation is a little different than 3 years ago. So how did your life change, your daily life? Are you teaching more or less? Are you playing more or less than 3 years ago?
That's a huge topic
Nice.
to cover 3 years in to summarize it.
Or
But
just
let's
like
start.
comparing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's try to see how where we end. No, it changed, of course, a lot in a way, but I don't know how much you are aware that we as a school had a transformation from actually of being a physical school, uh, being kind of forced into the online realm, but also we took it as an invitation, as a chance to establish actually our online presence for our students and for new students we are teaching since then, and we have a studio here now. I'm right now connected to you through our studio, and we for 3 years are now producing educational material and teaching, of course, classes, group classes, and smaller formats. And yeah, I mean, I think like from the amount of lessons I'm giving, it's pretty much the same as always, because I have a strict rule, which is that I love teaching and I really enjoy it a lot, but it has to be balanced with everything else. So if I do it too much, I'm losing my passion for it, or my my inspiration. That's the word. And so for me, teaching and playing is a very, very necessary combination. I need to play to get the inspiration, to be in contact with music, to be in contact with my instrument, and then actually I have also something to tell to my students out of my inspiration, which I gain from my playing. And that was obviously the last 3 years not that much possible. And honestly, I almost haven't played at all for 3 years. But I'm coming back now. Since a couple of months, I'm almost playing every weekend again. And next year looks pretty good. Actually, I have a couple of new projects coming up or preparing, and that makes me really excited to be back on stage and in the creative process and developing music, playing together with friends, and I'm feeling now how much I missed it actually, and it's good. It's good.
Yeah, there's also like an interesting thing in the music world, like also thinking of music schools and stuff. I mean, they want artists at the school teaching, but of course, like students are also interested in learning from somebody who actually plays on stage still. Like,
Yeah.
But of course, not too much. Like people also have to be at the school on site, you know? So it's that interesting combination. And yeah, doing online classes during the past years, like, did you have some students that were like, oh yeah, I just want to keep this online now? It's more comfortable? Or is everybody coming back to on-site lessons?
We have a combination. So, and that's also what we started. Since we decided to become an online school, we knew that there will be occasional meetings. We call that like day workshops, most of the time on weekends, Saturdays, or we have now in December, we have a whole weekend where we meet with our students. And that means like that it naturally developed into that the online classes are focused really on technical aspects of the development. I'm using the online teaching to visualize things. I have a lot of templates prepared where I can really show the combinations in, let's for example, like harmonies, or how things are how things are set up in the harmonica, where you can find them, so that you can really work on the visual aspect of seeing what's going on actually. And when we meet, we play and we focus more on improvisation. We focus more on communication on stage, on other aspects. So it seems to be a good division of these topics, using in a way the right medium like the online medium for technical aspects and the coming together for musical aspects. So, and it works well. And we have, of course, also this week-long workshop in Croatia where we hang out for a whole week and
Oh yeah.
go for a swim and go to the hiking into the mountains and play harmonica and enjoy great food. So there is enough opportunity to meet us and to be with us in person. So it's not that we're abandoned everyone into the online area and we do not want to see you anymore. No, you can contact us and be in touch with us.
Yeah. Man, Croatia. I love Croatia. That's like the best holiday memories are in Croatia that I have. So yeah, I should go back at some
You've been
point.
recently, or you've been in your childhood?
In my childhood, yeah.
Super.
Also on boats, definitely, yeah.
Oh yeah.
But also had like some kind of bad times on the boat too, like with lightning strikes and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That can get dangerous. Yeah.
Joel is tuning in. Hope you're doing well.
Hello, my friend Joel. Hi.
Yeah. I just played this
Super.
again today.
Yeah, actually, I have mine as well here. So
So it was so nice to send me this wooden comb for my golden melody.
super.
And this
super.
D harmonica is like the only key harmonica that I have that isn't customized, that I set up myself. And it really improved the instrument big time.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
These gold melodies, I'm seeing them from time to time around, like different people are playing them, these customized or having these customized combs, and I always wanted to try them out. And one day, Joel, I will contact you again and order my combs.
Yeah. And I mean, in connection to that, Joel, he also has a online course on your website. You produce
Exactly.
it for the harmonica school, like playing Irish music on the harmonica.
It is, I think, the Irish harmonica course you can get. It's huge. It's very thoroughly recorded and prepared. It's, I think, like over 90 videos and animated tabs, and it's amazing. And we recorded that 2001. I drove to Sweden. I was visiting Joel, and we took, I think, 10 days to record it. And
Wow,
it
yeah.
took us a year. It took us a year to edit it, and
That's crazy.
yeah, it's a crazy project, and no, it's amazing. I mean, if anyone is into Irish harmonica, I think you cannot miss this chance to look into that course. It's really you get all the secrets and stuff, what's going on, and Joel is a great teacher, and super.
Yeah, and I feel like Irish music is also like such a good style of music to start getting into more advanced stuff on the harmonica. I mean, for me it was like starting out playing easy single note melodies without bendings, but then Irish music can help you to build up more speed and more accuracy with single notes and easy melodies without bendings.
That's true.
Yeah.
Getting aware about breathing, proper breathing, the resonance room for creating a bigger sound. So there's everything in it actually, besides overblow and playing in 12 positions. But besides that, there's a lot of crazy techniques going on with the tongue switching, with the drones, and tongue blocking and stuff. So it's you can learn a lot, which you can use in other places, I think.
Yeah, I think
you
it's
want.
worth diving into that world because you could be missing out on some other stuff if you don't go in that direction. Because, I mean, there are people out there playing fancy stuff and bendings and overblows, but they possibly can't play fast single note melodies, Irish sort of stuff. I don't know, you know? And also you get a feeling for swing.
Yeah, I mean, these jigs and polkas and all these different styles, the sub-styles in the Irish music, they're just beautiful little songs. And if you participated in a jam session, or you even played in a jam session, I mean, that is something you want to repeat all the time, actually. And I know how Joel was always telling me about this magical moments of being with our musicians, and having a whole evening with some partying and stuff. And it's I think that's the magic part, like when you get the chance to use it in a setup like a pub and or a party or something, and you become part of that style. It's super.
Yeah, that's reality also. I mean, I remember visiting my first jam session, and I think I went through this tune, this jazz standard, All the Things You Are. I practiced it in my head, going to bed, like before falling asleep, I went through the chords and thought of like all 12 different keys and transposed it in my mind, you know? And I thought, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to
Oh
play
my God.
this at a jam session. And then I went to my first jazz jam session and I got completely lost in the form. Like I didn't know where I was and which key. And I just played like terrible stuff at some point. And then I knew, oh, I got to practice even more, you know? So yeah, it's like that's the real world, playing with actual humans and musicians.
Oh yeah. I remember my first jam session in Munich, where I grew up. Similar story with a different style. I went to a blues jam session, and I remember I was called up to for the first song. The first song was in minor, and I knew somehow that there are things I have to be aware of, but basically I just played out of my heart, and it sounded terrible because of course I was not emphasizing the minor third. I was just playing licks over it with the 3 draw and stuff, and it was okay. But the second song was a different form. It was not a standard form. I also didn't felt very comfortable, so it was a very frustrating experience the first time playing on a jam session.
Yeah.
But
like,
that's
what did you do afterwards? Like after experiencing this, like did it just like motivate you to work harder?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I always loved practicing, so the practicing part is for me mostly the most enjoyable part. So I mean, I love playing live. I love playing with others, but the time I spent with my instrument alone, that's a very precious time, and it was always like that. So I never had problems to discipline. No, I never had to discipline myself to practice because I enjoyed it from the early moments, and that's still like that now. And so I knew I had a feeling what was going on. I could not define it exactly, but I checked it out, and I never had these problems anymore. But I mean, I was 14 or something when that happened, so I was really young, and or 15, I don't remember, something like this. And yeah, but I think it's good. It's good also to be in a situation where you feel where your borders are, or where your limits are in a way.
Yeah.
And to use it as a motivation to look into it, I think.
Yeah, that's it. Like playing with better musicians, and like also in your practice. I mean, there's like this thing people talk about. There's a term for it, basically. You know, like you don't want to be like your exercises to be too hard, but you also don't want them to be too easy. Like that's basically people talk about this kind of flow state, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah.
We got Raymond tuning in from Riga, from Latvia, Argentina
Hello.
too. Maxi, yeah. Yeah, you also got now we're plugging all the courses on the website, but you also got a course on tango music, right?
Yes, with Santiago Alvarez. That's the second one we published. And yeah, same thing actually. The idea
So same thing,
is
you flew over to Argentina, or how did you do that?
exactly same thing as Irish, just Argentina. No, it's a very thorough course where you can really like dive deep into the specifics, what makes the music sound good, what aspects you have to consider, technical ones, but also musical ones. And that's a long-term project and a dream of ours, which we will focus and continue in the next years to present all these different styles and all these different approaches to styles, actually. And there are 2 more courses recorded already. We haven't had the chance yet to finish them. I recorded with William Gallison a jazz course, and with Bill Barrett actually as well.
Oh, yeah.
So these are the next ones coming. I cannot tell when, because right now the festival was consuming so much time that once this is fixed and finished, I think that we can have a better overview when we will go back to the production, actually. But yeah, it's a great. I mean, this production process, if you with all of these 4 courses we recorded now, it's a very intensive time of spending time with that person, with Joel, with Santiago, with William, with Bill, because we talk a lot about, like, okay, what are the specifics of what we want to record and how we're going to do it, how we're going to approach it. And I spent a lot of time with these guys, and that's an intense experience and a fantastic experience. So the 3 of them, I was at Joel's place, but the 3 others, they came to my place here to Berlin, and they stayed also here, and we hang out. And so it's a great memory of recording that. And all of these courses include also a portrait about these players. I don't know if you saw the portrait about Joel I recorded. Okay. There is on YouTube. Oh
yeah, that's on YouTube. I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah. And the others are coming soon. I mean, the next portrait will be Joe. Will be Santiago's, and then the others as well. But yep, that's what we do.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, let's talk about the festival. The lineup is fantastic. It's probably. Yeah, just the second harmonica festival after the World Harmonica Festival. Have there been any other harmonica festivals in Germany before?
I mean, there is the Seidel Festival in Klingenthal. There's
that's true. Yeah,
Harmonica Live, I think it's the name of it. It's not that huge.
Oh yeah, there was also something in the south of Germany. Yeah, I mean, there's the Austrian one, but not too much in Germany.
No, I'm aware of course, the World Harmonica Festival and the Klingenthal, the Harmonica Live Festival, where I also played many years ago. I think the difference to the Harmonica Fan Festival is that the two ones we mentioned, they are organized and by the 2 manufacturers in Germany, one by Hohner and one by Seidel, and I wanted to. I was always looking for a festival which is somehow coming more from the players' perspective, from the players' perspective.
From players, for players, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a motto, like from players for players, and I wanted to have a festival which just simply doesn't have a competition included. Many years.
That's true.
I was many years.
That's such a funny thing, just like thinking about it, that like pretty much all these harmonica festivals, have like this competition thing.
They center around it, basically. Like that's kind of the main thing. Like you're coming there to compete, to show your skills, and to get a trophy if you're very skilled, which is fine. And I get it. I understand it. I respect it. And everyone should approach it who feels that's the right thing to do. But I definitely would say that there are so many other aspects of music in general and coming together with music which should be emphasized more. And that's what the Harmonica Fan Festival is trying to do, is to put the same passion, the enthusiasm, the fascination we all share about our instrument on the first place, and that we come into into an exchange of knowledge, of our passion, and also to think in a way of how the whole story can be continued and how the whole story can be developed in a way. We have these three parts. I don't know if I ever told you that. It's the FEN. They stand for free.
Yeah, I just wanted to say the
ideas.
F already stands for fascination, right?
Yeah, exactly. So fascination, education, network. That's kind of the concept behind the whole festival. And the idea is that we are all fascinated, obviously, by the instrument, so we who play this instrument, but the instrument has the potential to fascinate very, very easily everyone who hears it the first time from someone who can play it. So if it's something which is very, very quick, which works super fast. So if you hear someone who can play this instrument well, it's impossible that you're not fascinated by how is it possible that so many notes are coming out and how does it go? I'm not seeing it, and so on. And the second part, which is next year, is actually more focused about the educational part. So how can we come together and create an educational system for this instrument? And I know that you are teaching a lot, we are teaching a lot, and there are many, many, many people, in particular with this new YouTube channels and all the socials, doing harmonica teaching, and which is good and which is great and which is helping to push this whole idea forward. But I also would say that there's also a lot which hasn't been done, and a lot of things where the harmonica is in its infancy, in its early stages, I would say. So compared to a violin educational program or all the classical instruments, and there's a lot which can be done, and the second part, and then the third part, which is hopefully in 2026, is focusing more on the network, on the idea of that somehow everyone who's fascinated, everyone who is doing some educational work in our community, let's try to share and let's try to come together in some kind of network and to see what we can establish for the future of this instrument. And it's an idea, it's a vision, it's a dream I have in a way. I know it's huge, I know it sounds a little crazy, but I think like if you don't start dreaming and if you don't at least try to make a difference, nothing will change, nothing will grow out of that. And so we're trying our best for as long as we can and how we can. So let's see what's possible. And yeah.
Oh yeah. And the lineup is super international. So I feel like if you compare it to the other festivals, this is worth traveling for too, like from other countries, you know?
I hope so, yeah. Berlin is always worth coming and visiting. So yeah, definitely. It is
so
also
how did you
with this.
how did you go about the lineup? Like also 2 years ago, like what are you looking for in the artists? Playing, performing, teaching? And I mean, the beautiful thing in the harmonica community is you probably know all of them in person already, right?
A lot of them, yeah, a lot. And which is not a criteria to be invited or to play there, but it helps, of course, if I know if someone is a professional artist and if there is a relationship established, that helps, of course. Yeah, I mean, for the first festival, it was very easy and simple because I think like all of them were really, really good friends of mine, and people I admire, people I adore, people I really love, and think I thought like I would really love to hear listening them at the festival. So
Yeah.
and in a way, the first festival was more focusing on like really, really long years established artists who are really names in a way. And And the second part next year, these players are also established and very well known, but it's a younger generation. I mean, there are a lot of like Ronnie, Hugh, Philip, Rutger. I
Yeah.
think I consider you guys really like the next generation, and Ariel, you're kind in a similar age, and
Yeah, and I feel like she's so amazing, and not too many harmonica players know about her.
that's true. And I
Yeah.
hope that should change. Definitely, she's a fantastic musician, writing beautiful music and just playing beautifully chromatic harmonica. It's lovely, really.
And
And
talking about the generations, Rohan from India is there.
absolutely,
So
yeah,
that's almost,
absolutely,
I mean, that's a different generation than I am almost.
that's true.
So,
That's true.
yeah.
No, I
That would
I
be
don't know. I
awesome
mean,
to seeing
it's
him again. I feel like, when did I meet him? Maybe at the Asia Pacific Harmonica Festival in Beijing.
okay.
2019, maybe. Yeah.
I think we will
I'm
all
sure
be
he's gotten
surprised.
a lot bigger and a lot better.
Oh yeah, I saw recently a picture of him. He sent me a picture, and he's definitely taller.
Yeah.
No, he has such a lovely family, and I'm looking very much forward to welcome them here in Berlin, and it's gonna be great.
Yeah. Everybody check out the lineup. Looks really good. Check out the links in the description box. Yeah. Serious Ensemble also. And yeah, I mean, I can tell you about this. I think at the Seoul Harmonica Festival, we were thinking about doing a song together. So
Really?
maybe that's going to happen. We still got to talk about it. But they were like, yeah, you should just tell us about a song you want to do with us, and we're going to arrange it for you plus
Oh, amazing.
our ensemble, you know? And I'm looking forward to that. That's super cool. Having like a diatonic harmonica soloist in front of this harmonic ensemble, you know?
Yeah. You asked me previous like what aspects I'm focusing on, like how to arrange a setup or who to invite, and so I think like I'm looking always for someone who has a story to tell musically, something someone who has an approach, someone who's in a way unique in what he's doing, and as an in my function as an it's that I'm really trying to present the harmonica in its varieties and all its different possibilities. So it should be super interesting for the audience, because also this festival is not mainly focusing on harmonica players. It's, we're really reaching out also for regular music festival lovers and interested people who are curious to know about the instrument itself. For last year when we had the first festival, something interesting happened while the festival was actually going on, that we realized, yes, we named it a harmonica festival, but actually it's more a music festival, because in these 3 days last year we had 10 different genres, 10 different styles of music
Yeah.
on the 3 days. I mean, name one music festival which can deliver this. I mean, you normally you're going to a jazz festival, you're going to a pop festival, you're going to a genre festival, which can have different bands and stuff.
Yeah.
But
You go to a jazz festival and what you get is pop.
exactly. So I think that's very unique, that everyone who's interested in just hearing a lot of great music and artists in a very short amount of time will be very, very surprised that the harmonica will be always having a great part in that, but it's really about the music, and the harmonica is integrated very natural in, and yeah.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, and there's like no. even not even the possibility to compare, just because it's like so many different styles being present at
Absolutely.
different instruments.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
So yeah, so you still got a Startnext campaign going on for a few more days. So
6
people
days,
can
6 last
basically
days.
order their ticket already, right?
Exactly. So you can buy your early bird ticket, which is a reduced ticket price now, and there are two versions: just a regular ticket for the whole weekend, or a ticket including all the workshops, all the master classes. So I think like basically all of the artists are giving a class. So it's I think a great chance to learn a lot, to see a lot in a weekend from all of these top players, and yeah, the crowdfunding is active for the next 6 days, and of course we would appreciate any kind of support. And it's necessary. It was necessary for us to include a crowdfunding into the preparation of it. It is a huge project, and yeah, it is just necessary to get any support from anyone who can support us. Really, it's what we need.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy. Just pre-order the ticket, you know?
Yeah.
So that's the best way to do it. Yeah. Early bird ticket, that's what it's about, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm just clicking
Or
around on
you
the
can-
website, but yeah.
I don't know if you saw it, but we have also this crazy, fantastic harmonica from Joel, which we are also offering as a
Oh
as a
yeah.
raffle. And there are not many. There are 42 tickets actually, 42 tickets sold. So we will make the raffle after the 6 days, and you can win this fantastic harmonica. So that's also a way how you can support if you wanna win this harmonica. Here's the chance with a ticket to support the festival and to hopefully win the harmonica.
That's a sick looking harmonica. Yeah.
I haven't tried it, but I can imagine that it's mind blowing. As how I know Joel and his stuff, it's for sure a crazy harmonica.
And
yeah.
is like D10, is that just the name of the model?
I know that he has also chromatics of that line of this new upcoming line, and I think he published it already. And D, I assume diatonic D10, and he has the chromatics, the 12s, the 14s, and the 16s, 16 holes, and
In the key of A. That's really good.
yep.
So yeah. Nice. So how about your daily life? You said like you're playing a lot of concerts now on weekends, but like within the week, like how does your day look like?
All right.
I mean, it's probably different all the time, but
No, it's. I think the main topics I'm juggling in between is schoolwork, which means teaching and organizing dates and workshops for the upcoming months and years. But we are organizing far in advance. The workshops for next year are fixed, and so we need to prepare that a lot in advance. I have my colleague. With her, I'm running the school together, Julia, and we are working for I think 5 years now together. And she's also completely involved in everything what the festival work includes. And without her, I simply would not be able to do all that amount of work. So it's basically only possible with her together to organize all that stuff. And yeah, we have our regular meetings, having overviews, what are the next meetings concerning the festival. We are trying to establish here in Berlin, also in the cultural, political areas, and awareness for the festival. We are trying to get some support, and yeah, it's local work, local political work actually, and
Yeah.
it takes a long time before you get the right people to talk to and an awareness for what you do. And I don't know why we are doing, but I guess it's necessary to make it just more visible and to get some more support from the right people. I think it's not that easy, and it's something I was not aware in advance. But again, I mean, once you start such a project, it's I think I am like that. That when I start with something, I really want to do it well. I'm not. I do not want to do it like 50%. I want to try to see like, okay, how can we do it really properly and professionally, and that's demanding, definitely. But it's also interesting, and we learned a lot. We learned a lot of great persons out there. We met last year the Toots Tielemans legacy from Belgium, and through Steven de Bruyne, he was giving a masterclass about for Toots Tielemans, and they are fantastic. I mean, there are really a lot of people out there who are doing very dedicated and passionate work, and through the festival, we're getting more and more networks and contacts to these people out there, and that's what I was hoping for, and it's happening actually, so that we are visible with what we are doing, and people sometimes contact us, sometimes we're contacting different active people out there, and there is a net building slowly up, and that's interesting.
Yeah.
And so that kind of work takes a lot of time, and and I'm trying to keep up my practice schedule. I had a lot of rehearsals recently. I have a new trio here in Berlin with a good friend of mine who plays guitar, and a new friend of mine who plays Indian Bansuri flute, and we have a completely crazy program switching between Indian ragas, Balkan music, and jazz compositions. And the guitar player plays a complete unique tuning the guitar into basically into a new instrument. The harmonica and the bansuri are creating a fantastic team together, and so I'm learning a lot of new musical skills there in the Indian musical part. That's very interesting to see how music works there. But I also recently discovered a couple of new perspectives on the diatonic harmonica, which I was hoping and looking for a long time, and it feels for me that recently a couple of major puzzle pieces are clicking together and creating a bigger picture, which I was looking for a long time. So I'm excited actually to practice more and to play more and to use this new knowledge now.
That's awesome. I mean, thinking of like a day teaching a lot of students, it might be hard for some people to stay motivated practicing yourself, you know? But you seem to be able to do that very easily.
Not easily, but I'm trying, and it's not.
So
it's
is
not
that
always,
also, does that include just work on the instrument for yourself, or is it always about the next musical project and working on that?
Depends. Sometimes I just have time to prepare the next rehearsals or the next compositions.
Yeah.
And sometimes I take the time to work on stuff. But to be honest, I mean, I would love to have more time for that aspect to work on stuff. That is something I if I could choose, if I could ask for a favor, that would be something I would love to have more time to really like work more on developing certain topics. But it's happening in a way through the new projects. I'm learning also a lot, and so I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I also sent out a newsletter last week, and I noticed that I started playing 15 years ago.
You started playing 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow, it's
crazy,
not
right?
that long. I mean, it's...
So
how old are you? I never asked you, Konstantin, how old are you actually?
I'm 28 now. And
really? Wow.
I started at the age of 13, 14.
Yeah, I remember I
So
saw
like
you
in
when
2008, this guy on German TV won their talent show. Yeah, he had his TV appearances in November, December 2008.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you are playing for even longer.
I'm playing since my 13th birthday, and I am 45 now, so it's 32 years.
Yeah. So
It's a scary number if you think about these numbers.
that's
really.
true. but like, what keeps you motivated about playing the harmonica or practicing? Like, is it the actual feeling of, oh yeah, it feels good to play the instrument, or is it about the kind of community aspect more nowadays? Or like, yeah, well, what's the motivation?
I think most of all it's the interest in music, and my tool is the harmonica.
Oh
and,
yeah, that makes sense.
And I expanded it many years ago to the chromatic harmonica as well, because I was having for some time difficulties to play what I hear and what I feel on the diatonic harmonica, and I was struggling with that. And there is, I mean, there is this, with this expansion, with this technical expansion, with the overblow techniques and the chromatic playing on the harmonica. That's something I started very early to learn and to try to put it into my playing, and I figured out that that's in some cases, in some spots, it's just not sounding good. In my taste, there are things which can work, which can be implemented easily, and you basically almost don't hear that it is something going
or
on.
it even adds to the music,
Yeah. And I had to I had to admit that if I play something and I hear myself and I hear that the harmonica is just not sounding good because of technical limitations, of course I can practice to overcome these limitations and make it sound good. That is something you can do, and which you can successfully do. But there are still some limits, and you can, of course, try to navigate around these limitations. But you can also just use a chromatic harmonica for certain situations and expand your musical knowledge through a new instrument.
Yeah.
And that's what I did for a long time. And
I'm playing more chromatic harmonica now. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I don't know. I started 2012, I think, with a chromatic, and or even earlier, and I'm so in love with it. I would not say that. I mean, my main instrument is the diatonic harmonica. It is, but I just love to play chromatic, and it is always a holiday. It feels like a holiday for me when I play chromatic, and it's always like you figure out new things, and you're happy that.
You even get new ideas because you're in some kind of way also more limited.
Yeah, and I pictured it as I'm picturing it as actually like if I have two hands and I have in one hand the chromatic, in the other the diatonic, it's one harmonica, and I'm choosing in the scenarios, in the music, which sound I want to emphasize more, which aspect of the harmonica I want to emphasize more, and the instruments are different and they function different. That is a fact, but in my head, musically thinking, I'm trying to see it as one harmonica with different aspects, and you can learn from one for the other. You can expand your musical knowledge in both directions. So if you use your diatonic skills with all the bending knowledge and the micro shaping of the notes for the chromatic, that's interesting. That sounds maybe arrogant, but I think like pure chromatic harmonica players sometimes just don't have that much experience in all the bending techniques, and that's why they do not use it that much in their playing. But the chromatic harmonica can be bent, and it can use this expressional tools if you use all these micro bands and half tone bands and stuff.
Yeah.
And other way also around, if you play a lot of chromatic and you have an idea of building lines and navigating through the chromatic, you can use that fantastically for a diatonic harmonica to play different lines and not to get stuck into all the same shapes or movements on the harmonica. So it's a win-win situations in both directions, and so that is what keeps me driving, what keeps me going for practicing, figuring out things, learning things. I love learning. It's I think it's a time where I'm with myself and learn things. It's a good time spent, and that's what I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you got all these courses coming out and produced for the harmonica school. Are you also thinking of like producing one with yourself, or do you want to put
yes.
out something by yourself, or do you want to keep it to your students?
No, I started recording, and there will be definitely not only one course. There will be hopefully in the future more and more courses also from me, and it's only purely about time, and it will just take a little more because all of these topics are happening right now with the festival and stuff, and I'm trying to find a way to be faster with these things, but I do not want to sacrifice quality in the products. And I think there are so many good. There's so much good content out there. You really have to make sure that the quality is good. So I think that we need more of good quality, I think.
Yeah, I mean there are more people than ever putting
That's
out
true.
stuff on YouTube,
Yeah.
So like for me, that was like just when people started out doing this. So when Adam Gusso uploaded his first videos and Jason Ritchie, and I mean that's like super bad video quality too nowadays. But that was like the start of the whole thing.
Content-wise, the content wins always. If the content is good, you can overlook the quality of the video. If it's inspiring, then that is what wins. I think if it works, if the content is good. But if the content is good and it looks good, then it's even better.
Definitely. Yeah, and I mean, it also sets it apart from the stuff that's freely available. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the students coming to your school, like the incoming students, are most of them pure beginners, or are most of them people who already play the harmonica for some time?
It was different. We had different periods of different kind of students coming and coming to us. So I think like when I started teaching, when we had the physical school, it was 90% beginners who were contacting us and me, and but then something interesting happened, and it is that a lot of these students, they are still our students. That means that we have students who are for 8 or 10 years part of these programs, and then these students, they become better and better, and so they're definitely not beginners anymore. And then in the last years we also we got more and more professional players or players who are skilled already and they are looking for some inspiration. So I'm offering this coaching program where I'm really dedicating my time into one person and checking out like what is already established, where is maybe something missing, what could be expanded in what directions could be expanded, and with what exercises can we establish a practice schedule or program with someone, and that is also happening from time to time, that I'm contacted by people who are just looking for the new kick, the new inspiration, and so on. So it depends. I think in the recent years, more and more already well established players are contacting us, but we have this huge amount of players who are started as students and are now becoming better and better and getting their own concerts, and so it's sweet to see. It's good.
That's amazing. Yeah. I mean, that speaks for the school too. Like, it's not only about like attracting the students. I mean, if you can keep them for 8 years,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
It's good. It's also a little problem because we just have also a limited amount of possible slots, in a way, of possible spaces we can deliver. I mean, we cannot teach with this format for thousands of students. That's impossible. But what we can do and where we can definitely invite newcomers also is in our workshops. So in the workshops we can establish particular workshops for beginners, for specific topics and stuff. The workshops are easy to access because they're limited to a week or a weekend. But the students I have for a long time, we're having almost 2 weekly or weekly regular ongoing teaching, and that's a dedication you have to be willing to do, but that also makes the change that you develop through a long dedication on time wise, also on effort wise. If you practice for 8 years, you become good.
Yeah. And as we both know, there's like not that kind of professional path laid out for a harmonica player, like doing this for a living, you know. But
Yeah.
is there like a part of the students who are earning money with harmonica playing who want to actually earn money doing it?
I don't think so. I think like right now, from the students we have, no. I think they are mostly playing for the fun part of it.
Yeah.
And I had a couple of times younger players who thought about it, like who were 20 something, and they were enthusiastic about playing, and they learned a lot on YouTube and stuff, and then they wanted to check me out and how I can help them. But I haven't seen them for a long time, so I don't know what happened, if they continued their path. And yeah, I mean,
That's interesting.
that's another story if you want to make a living out of that.
But there's also at that age, like you try different stuff, you know.
Yeah. I hope for them that they continued, so it would be interesting to see what happened.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like there's nobody maybe play, but some of them are probably playing concerts here and there in smaller settings, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Nice, yeah. I don't know, but for me that time of like trying a lot of stuff, that was like at that age, like 13, 14, 15, I think I tried like a lot of stuff that I saw on TV, I don't know, and signed up to forums, and I don't know, it's just like harmonica was the thing that stayed with me.
Super.
But are you aware of any other harmonica players in Germany in their 20s?
Good question. Not that I can name a name right now. I know that on these festivals in Klingenthal and in Trossingen, there are always young players who are interesting to listen to, and but I don't see them or hear them then after these festivals, and
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening then, if they lose interest in it or they're just not visible or not. I don't know. I mean, I know that there are a lot of young players on these festivals, but I'm not aware of anyone who's really dedicated, and would be
Yeah, I
good
mean,
to
also
see if.
in Trossing, there are definitely young players, and also like
Yeah, yeah.
with the music school there, where you can basically learn chromatic harmonica too, and of course you got young students. Yeah, but like most of the time, they probably aren't part of the diatonic heavy events. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I see. So for beginners, what's like an instrument that you recommend? And what's the instrument that you play?
Harmonica instrument.
Yeah.
I mean, the instrument I always recommend, because I simply think it's the best out of the box instrument, is the Hohner crossover, marine band crossover. And what's the other one? The deluxe. I think they are, for me, the the two instruments I really like a lot. Sometimes, if you prefer a plastic body, the Rockets or the Special 20s are instruments I recommend. I recommend Joel's beginner harps we're selling. We have a cooperation with Joel where we are selling only particular harmonicas from Joel over our website, and we have a beginner harp which is slightly customized by him, but it makes a change. So he sets it up a little better and stuff, and they're affordable. And so we are selling a lot of these beginner harps on in our school. But I mean, with a regular crossover or deluxe marine band, you cannot get wrong with it. It's a fantastic instrument.
Oh yeah. And talking about the instruments you play, you held a harmonica with the Joel comb in the camera earlier. Like,
yeah,
which kind of instrument was that?
it is the top of the line. I had to do it one time. You know, I never played too much custom harmonicas in my past, and so when I had finally the chance to order, I think I ordered like 10 or 12 of them, and I love them, and I think they're absolutely amazing. But I know also that my whole development of harmonica learning, that it was also a huge part of it having not that good instruments. That means, like, I remember when I started, I had a Huang harmonica, which was back then 5 marks, and it was not that bad, actually. It was okay, but compared to nowadays instrument, compared to, I mean, these modern customized instruments, it was a hard-working instrument. You really had to work. You really had to invest in your technique to play it. And if I remember, like the MS Hohners, I don't know if you're aware of them, these big river harps, or they were not bad, but if you play them now, it's a different thing. You know, it's I think they just feel a little stiffer. They just feel a little that you have to put more effort in it compared to a custom harmonica. What I want to say is, I think like a custom harmonica is fantastic and it suits you in every scenario. But I think it's also good to invest in your technique and to know what the instrument needs, and technique is first. Like, technical skills are the main focus you should invest. Like, really practice more, and if you have the chance to buy a good instrument, super. But the instrument will not sound better if you don't sound good. So
yeah.
I know it's hard to hear something like that. It sounds maybe frustrating, but I think it's the truth that it's the same thing with like amplifiers or microphones or any gear. I mean,
music production, you can have the fanciest plugins and the fanciest speakers, whatever. Like,
if the musical idea is boring, no plugin will make it interesting.
Yeah, very true. Oh yeah, that's a good thought too. Like you're talking music production, but like talking harmonica recording. How often do you actually record your playing?
Not that often anymore, but I did that for a long time with great pleasure, and I enjoyed that part of my creative work for a long time a lot, playing around in this creative space with Logic and all the stuff you can use, and I think it's absolutely lovely. It's a playground to just check out things and create musical spaces which you can imagine. It's something I would love to do more, and hopefully in some future with the bands or stuff. But it's basically I think like if you do it for yourself, that's different than if you record with a band or with a project, because if you have a project which has the idea of putting things on stage or recording a record, that's a very focused work and with particular goals. But I enjoy the most is just like turning on the machine and following an idea, following just an inspiration, and suddenly something is building up. You're recording this and you're recording that, and you're putting some vocals on it. You're doubling things. You're switching the beat, and that's a huge playground. I can recommend anyone to invest there too, because there your mind expands, your possibility. You get an idea of like, oh wow, I can use the harmonica that way, or I can create that sound through this. And that's something I'm very, very passionate about actually, and I hope I can do it in the future more.
Oh yeah, there's a lot more to explore and discover and to do.
How is it with you? I know that you are also experimenting a lot of this recording stuff, and how are you?
I'm not sure if I would call it experimenting, because like I'm not really like altering the sound of the instrument, you know. It's just really me incorporating it into Afrobeat pop songs. And that's it. Or like any other, like let's say urban pop music. And sometimes the chromatic is a better fit. So it's just like a taste thing. Like sometimes I'm
absolutely
like, yeah, the chromatic just fits this way better. So that's why I'm playing more chromatic sometimes. Or like also some classical situations that I had where I also just had to be honest to myself and be like, I don't like how this sounds on the diatonic. Yeah, I have to play this on the chromatic in concert, you know? And yeah, that's fine. That's cool. I think back when I became an endorsee for Hohner, I don't know, 10 years ago, they sent me this CX12 chromatic jazz, and I still have it and I still play it and it sounds great. I love it. So yeah, but in the beginning I didn't use it at all. So now it's it found its place.
I have to say that meeting these two guys I mentioned previous, like William and Bill, William Gallison and Bill Barrett, that was such a huge inspiration for me to dive deeper into the chromatic and in particular, like I don't know how much you are aware of their playing techniques. I mean, I know that you had Bill recently here, and that he
taught me some nice splits and some harmonies.
It's just mind blowing. His approach to the chromatic is fantastic, and similar, a little different is William, who is also using parts of what Bill is doing it's the tongue switching thing, the corner switching thing, and that was completely new to me for the chromatic. And I have to say that this technique opened actually for me the access to this instrument. Previous, I started many years ago as a pucker player, and then I switched to tongue blocking on the chromatic. And then a couple of years ago, 5 years ago, I added the corner switching, and that is the main key to for me to get access to it. And it changes the way of playing and thinking, because Bill is using always this image, like imagine playing a piano with two fingers and you have distances. You have just double possibilities with two fingers. Previous, you're playing always with one finger, one note. Now you have like two fingers, and yeah, and figuring out a way to practice suddenly. Just imagine, like, like arpeggios, and now with this technique you can come up with like sets, how you set an arpeggio. So where do I start? Do I start left or right? And when is the switch interesting? When does it become useful? When it's not useful? So I basically started from scratch, from beginning, like really checking out everything I knew musically under this new perspective of implementing a new technique, and that's fun. That took me some years, but it's still fun.
Yeah, definitely keeps things exciting and can keep you motivated about harmonica playing. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. I think this is in the end, like, you have to find interesting spots you want to improve, or you feel something could be found, and then just follow this notion and try to what you can gain out of it. I think that's the fun part of it.
Yeah, and also I feel like the harmonica in itself is very special already. At least for the people who don't play the instrument. So, I mean, I got to tell that to myself sometimes, all the time, like, don't be afraid of playing something easy and putting it out there, or playing something that's known. I don't know, The harmonica in itself is like so special for most people out there. I mean, not for us, obviously, not for the harmonica world, but there's no shame in playing a beautiful version of, I don't know, Oh,
what
Susanna, and putting it out, What a Wonderful World, or the Titanic theme, Yeah.
I mean, and that's what I like. If we all, in a way, like, always remind ourselves that it's what we do is music, and our tool is the harmonica, and it's always about music. It's always about this communication between you and the listener. It's always about emotion, actually, and it's music. I love, in my teaching, in my workshops, for my students, I love always to compare things to bigger pictures, and to use material as inspiration from other sources. So, I mean, we can talk about scales, we can talk about all the musical aspects of it. It's important, and it can be inspiring to find a lot of topics there. But if you consider a bigger picture, like, okay, how is it related to life? How is it related to philosophical topics? How is it related to the language? How compares language to music? How does the communication part work when I'm playing with someone together? So how can we communicate through our instruments? And then suddenly you're entering a so much bigger space of topics to consider and to learn, and it becomes just wonderful, because it's for me, music is about expression, and the harmonica, our tool, is a great tool to for anyone who wants to try to find a tool to express himself. And both of you and me, we started very early to play music, and so sometimes we miss, or we forget, that this ability if you find an ability to express yourself, that's something which is very powerful and necessary in life, because sometimes our language is not sufficient enough, it's not precise enough, and music can express things where sometimes like our words are missing, or I'm not able to find the right expression to express what I can do with music, for example. And that's very powerful if you found that in your life, something where you can truly express yourself as a being, as from your soul. And I'm seeing this with my students, that like after a certain time there comes a sparkle in their eyes when they figured out, okay, wow, there's so much more I can do now with this instrument than just playing some songs or licks. It's about expressing myself, and that's magical, I think.
That's good. Yeah, I love that. And that's especially like exactly just what you said, like players like us playing the instrument for so many years, like being conscious about that, reminding ourselves of that, how special the harmonica is in those terms of expression. Yeah, that's motivation enough too. Yeah.
I had I started a couple of years ago with my friend Lutz, a very interesting experiment. It started as an experiment, but it became very fast something complete, deeper and more meaningful than we were aware in the beginning. We started meeting regularly a couple of years ago, and we made an experiment there. Where we said, okay, let's choose a couple of modes or scales, and let's just play, like without any we do not prepare any agreement or something. So let's simply improvise over it and develop out of the moment things. And we did that regularly, and we called it actually Konzert im Moment, the concert in the moment. And we did it for ourselves. It was not for an audience in the beginning, and we started recording it, and we started like just putting a camera and seeing like what's happening. And it was super interesting to figure out, like, if you practice acceptance of that, like that you really allow yourself going into musical directions where you're not following genre aesthetics or not any forms or not any things we have to learn to be able to survive in a genre. When you just keep everything free of that and you really react to in that moment to what is happening. So I play a note, he reacts with our note, we interact in that moment, and we figured out, oh my God, here's a certain magic happening which is so strong, and is so powerful because it's in that moment, and it's coming from a different source. And that's something I'm very, very much interested in music, is when musicians, or when you're able to access this resource of us, when you're really playing out of the moment, when you're really like reacting to what is going on. And that's, I think, and this is the area where it becomes philosophical. This is the area where you can also name it spiritual or whatever. But I think every great art is using this space where you're really reacting to what is there, and where the strength of the art is born by the ability of stepping away and letting the thing establish how it wants to establish. And that's something I'm really looking for in any musical projects I'm starting now, and that's something what I'm also trying to teach in different scenarios and workshops and so on.
Yeah, that also sounds like a huge improvisational aspect. And,
absolutely.
I mean, I also try to teach everybody to improvise very early on, because I mean, there are some students who are like, oh yeah, I want to play this and that song, and can you tab it out for me, please? Please tab it out, please. Simple melodies, and and sometimes I'm like, no, I'm not gonna tap that out for you. You should learn that by ear or something like that. Because like if you only have these 4 songs written out in tablature, you can only play these 4 songs. But if I taught you how to improvise or move freely within a certain set of notes in that period of time, you'd be able to play 20 songs. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, a melody, a song is a fantastic starting point. Well, it's a starting point. I think it depends what you're playing. I mean, it depends also on what style. And there are many styles where improvisation has not that huge part in it, but it has different ways of improvisation implemented. In both genres we talked earlier, like Irish music and tango, it's about playing songs. It's about performing songs, and there are small variation areas in these genres, where you can play with your expression and improvise with your expression. It's more how you perform it. But I mean, jazz, for example, it would not work without improvisation. It's all about improvisation, and many other genres as well. It's basically all about improvisation. And again, I think like improvisation is the key to yourself. It's like it's an invitation to find your expression in music. So how do you sound? And you can sound, you can play a melody in your style, but if you can improvise that melody, it becomes even more personal. It becomes even more you, because nobody talks like you, nobody moves like you. So we are unique. Every one of us is unique, and that's why improvising is natural, I think.
Yeah. Very nice. All right. I think we covered a lot of topics.
Yeah.
And
I'm warming up.
I hope I hope everybody knows about the Harmonica Fan Festival now. Please, if you're watching, check out the description box. I put all the links there. So we got this little announcement too on our side. We got a Transcription Harmonica Challenge going on Sunday. Marko's Call is going to join us. He's our guest and judge.
Super.
So Sunday on Twitch, 6 p.m. If you still want to participate, you can upload your recording to our Discord server. And then you can find all the links to Marko and his projects and the Harmonica Fan Festival, the Startnext campaign, so you can pre-order your ticket and support the festival. Come to Berlin in May. I'm going to be playing there with my pianist Benjamin Nuss and a whole lot of other harmonica players, young generations playing there.
Yeah.
And check out the Harmonica School Berlin. Yeah, you got all the social media links in the description. Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this, Marko.
Thank you for inviting me, Konstantin. Super, thank you. It's always great to talk to you, and I could continue definitely for more hours. I think we just scratched the surface of everything, but
yeah, we could
let's
dive
continue.
deep into the improvisational and philosophical world and stuff.
Yes. Definitely.
But yeah, that's what's going on next month, episode 100. And then I'm also planning a Christmas challenge, of course. So get your Christmas songs ready, everyone. Liam Ward is going to be our special guest that time and judge. So yeah, starting to close off the year, basically. How about you, Marko? Like, how are you closing off the year? Do you also have like a do you meet up with the students, or are you gonna play like a Christmas concert, or what do you like to do in those last days in December?
I will continue everything as described. So we will work until the last week. I mean, like the 20th of December. But normally we have always like a last gathering together where like all the students of the school and friends we visit, and it depends every year what we do. But we had for many years, we had a wonderful thing where we were listening to music on vinyl, and maybe we will repeat that this year again. So it's a nice idea. My friend, my colleague, and I, we prepare different vinyls, and then we change. I'm always putting one vinyl, and then he puts a song from the other vinyl, and we listen all together to it and talk about like the songs, talk about what we could hear, think, feel in that compositions, and it's a very nice getting together, a community thing, and probably I'll suggest to repeat it again this year.
Cool. What's your favorite Christmas song?
I don't think that I have one.
Okay.
I don't know.
I was just about to ask you to play it.
Oh, I would lose completely.
That was very unprepared. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not good with Christmas songs, but I'm sure there are good ones I'm not aware of. Help me if you know good ones. I'm very eager to
I don't know.
hear
Like
or
this
learn
year,
them.
I'm not playing too many Christmas concerts. I'm just playing one, and there's this song that's really called the Christmas song, which is more like a jazz kind of thing.
Okay.
And it's gonna be an arrangement for a string quartet plus me.
Nice, super.
So yeah, I'm excited about that. But I've played that before, but I've never played with a string quartet before.
Ah,
So that's kind of cool.
that's magical. That's magical. And harmonica and strings is just it's a good match. It's lovely because they are not that loud as we are not that loud, and that's a good volume range. I think it's super. It fits very well.
Yeah. But that's the only Christmas thing I play, I think. Oh, another one. Yeah. Yeah, I'm playing another one with my pianist too. But we're not playing Christmas songs all the time. We're also going to play this piece there's some film music by this Japanese composer, Yuji Sakamoto. He has this song, Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence. Very emotional kind of piece.
Nice. Probably I would love that, but I don't know it. So these are the Christmas songs I think I would love.
Yeah. Yeah, I should do another video before the challenge. Giving you some inspiration on harmonica songs to upload, everybody. So yeah, thank you for tuning in tonight. Thank you, Marko. And we'll see you hopefully at the Harmonica Festival next year.
Yes.
And then I'll see you in the online world Sunday on
Super.
Twitch. Bye-bye.
Bye, ciao.